You need to sit yourself down in a meeting and say, okay, now I've done this course, I'm almost through. Where do I desire? When we are talking about an employee, first let's understand who an employee is.
The moment you go in campus, you need to identify, let's say, nearly 5 to 10 organizations that you want to work with. Yeah.
Once you decide on where you want to go, you either go there physically, or if you can find their email address on the internet, you do that. Once you have the contacts of the places you want to work on, you now work on your CV.
Now, as a freelancer, what do you need to have to ensure that, number one, you remain valuable, relevant, and impactful?
Are these companies in my area, or are they in Nairobi, or are they in Busia, or are they abroad? You need to identify, you write down a list.
Which is that standard format of a CV, or what are the most crucial information that I need to have on my CV? Hello guys, and welcome to this Sphere production. This is the King's Lounge. My name is Mwavali Derrick Dangote, and today I'm joined by one of the most amazing guests I know, one of the most amazing people I know. We have interacted on various platforms. She has been on this channel once. We had a podcast with her on Gen Z versus Millennial, even before story na Gen Z movement hands in Kenya. Back then we were trying to compare the parenting of the Gen Zs and the parenting of their days, and it was a really wonderful conversation. If you have not watched that video, is just on the live videos of this channel. But today we are not meeting to converse about Gen Z versus Millennials. Today we want to talk about youth as employees, because after 4 years in campus, 4 years in high school, and 8 years in primary school, what your parents and the society at large expects is for you as a person to seek a job, be employed, make some money, change life in your home, and change life of people around you. And there are things we need to know that we are never taught in school that is entailed in the field of employment. And her being one of the people that has been coaching people across this country on matters to do with employment, we saw it fit that she is the one to converse this topic. So today we want to talk about youth as employees with none other than the sensational Madam Lynette Kibali. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Najua maybe kuna kakitu nimemiss kidogo.
No, really.
Can you reintroduce yourself? Na unajua maybe kuna kwani zile titles.
No.
I have a PhD in, a degree in.
Do we really need to mention that? I think what you said is just relevant to the conversation that you're going to have.
Wow.
Yeah, if I really need to mention, I have a bachelor's in computer science and information technology. And just to emphasize on what you said, I've worked a lot with the youth. Yeah, rolling out different programs, not just the employability skills. I've worked with the youth in aspects where we talk about comprehensive sexuality education, we talk about mental health, we talk about menstrual health, we talk about the CBST skills, the core business skills training, the life skills training, and working with girls as well as women or older people, especially in the communities. So narrowing down to what we're talking about today, I've had the privilege of working a lot with the youth, training them on skills. We call them the skills of life or life skills, and also training them on the employability skills. I had an opportunity to work with KEOP, Kenya Youth Employment Programs, where I was in Cycle 3, Cycle 4, Cycle 5, Cycle 6. For those who are in the program, they understand what I'm saying. So I used to go into the communities and find the youths and train them. First, you train them on life skills or the skills of life, and then they transition into the CBST, core business skills training. In others, you tell them what they need to be as an employee. Or as an employer. Okay. So that's among the rare golden opportunities I had to work with the youth.
Now, when once you are done, I can say in campus, we are never taught what you need to do when you're seeking a job. or what you need to do once you have the job. What they'll tell you is that you need to wake up in the morning to report to a class at this time. It's like training you literally to go to the, but najua kupata kazi is beyond that.
Yeah.
Now I want you to help us break this mountain down from the beginning. After graduation tumeanza job seeking. Acha tuanzie hapo. Umeanza job seeking. What are the do's, the don'ts, what you need to know, and how you need to carry yourself?
Yeah, so talking from experience, because I also graduated some years back.
Yeah.
So I think it may be a bit easier for me to also talk about this. Now, when you are from campus, youth is not just an employee. When you're from campus, you can become an employer. So we have youths as employers, we have youths as employees, we have youths as businessmen, we have youths as entrepreneurs. So they can fall in all those aspects. But we are talking about you as an employee. The moment you're from campus, you are looking for a job. So what you've asked is, how do you go about it? How do you land into getting your job? So when you're out of campus, majorly what you're always worried about, okay, what's next?
What's next? Yeah.
I'm about to graduate.
And so you ulienda internship or ulienda attachment.
Yes.
Now you didn't maybe get that bond sana. Na hiyo shule or your place ulikuwa.
Where you were attached.
Yeah. You are not even sure if nikiapply uko nitapewa job. Na unajua kuna wale wenye, like for instance wenye mtoka attachment sahi, kuna wale wanasema where we were in attachment we were told we only employ TSC people or so it's a big challenge. So umetoka kampo, nianzie hapi.
Yeah, so when we are talking about an employee, first let's understand who an employee is.
Yeah.
So an employee is somebody who is under an employer and you have an agreement or a contract and you're paid either weekly or monthly. So that is who an employee is. So now if after campus you want to become an employee, you first of all need to know the field that you want to apply for. Assuming you've done computers, you're in communications, you're in what? Business, education.
Yeah.
Identify where you want to work.
Okay.
Now, many a times, one of the challenges we have, even before I go deeper, is it's hard to get jobs in our country nowadays.
Really hard.
Especially on the fields that we study. But once you identify where you want to work, the first thing is you need to find the contacts of that organization. Assuming I want to work with which company?
Let's say
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, let's use Coca-Cola. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find their contacts, either email or the physical location of the environment where I am, because Coca-Cola is worldwide.
So that means, what are you trying to mean, that the moment you go in campus, you need to identify, let's say, nearly 5 to 10 organizations that you want to work with?
Yeah, that is the best thing. While you're almost winding up, you need to sit yourself down in a meeting and say, okay, now I've done this course, I'm almost through. Where do I desire to work? Are these companies in my area, or are they in Nairobi, or are they in Busia, or are they abroad? You need to identify, you write down a list. Then you begin to find their contacts. So you are talking about Coca-Cola. Do I want to work in Coca-Cola in Nairobi or in Mombasa or the branch in Kilifi County?
Yeah.
Once you decide on where you want to go, you either go there physically or if you can find their email address on the internet, you do that. Once you have the contacts of the places you want to work on, you now work on your CV. That is the most important thing to have when you're from campus, your CV.
What should, okay, there is this CV format that we were taught in primary. Then kwenda high school, it was improved kidogo.
Which one was in primary?
You know, in primary there was this personal details, educational
name,
details,
age, religion,
marital status, and national identity. Then when I came to campus, I interacted with unaenda YouTube unapata someone has told you this is the format of writing a CV in 2024.
Yeah.
Then you are pale katikati. Maybe you have been in this field for a while. Which is that standard format of a CV, or what are the most crucial information that I need to have on my CV, apart, let's say, from my academic qualification? Because my sister used to tell me that sometimes mtu akupeangi kazi because of your qualifications academic, anaangalianga vitu zingine.
Yeah, so there's no standard format for a CV. And I also want to mention that in the field, we have what we call a resume and a CV. So usually a CV is more detailed. You'll find your CV can be about 3 to even 5 pages. You put every single detail. But a resume is usually a summary of that CV. And your resume usually have what you call an executive summary. So
Hapo umechanganya kidogo. Executives.
Yeah, so I'm explaining that. The format you're just saying that you had in primary.
Yeah.
Every working day, as days go by, as we go through the years, there's improvement of everything. We can attest to that.
Yeah.
So even the format and the methods of writing our CVs have improved with time. So things like name, Lynette, age, 40, religion, Muslim, Christian, blah, 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 marital status, single, they're no longer necessary. Because when you are applying for a job, depending on the job you're applying for, you will put or you will insert those information. But on a general CV, you don't need all that. Your date of birth, your name, you may say your age in passing. But most of these details you give to your employer when you're on the table, or if they require. Like you can apply for an NGO and they say we need females between 20 to 35.
Yeah.
And they have to be Christians. So in that case, you'll say, I'm Lynette, I'm 20 years old, and I am a Christian. You'll mention that. The reason we stopped putting those details on the CVs is because of biasness. You may be applying in a Muslim environment, and then the moment they see
you're a
Christian, the person who is working on the CVs may just put your paper aside because of biasness, I don't want Christians to feel our organization. Or if you're a Muslim and you're applying to a Christian organization and there's that bias, this guy is a Muslim, we don't want him.
We don't want Muslims.
Again, most employers don't like, it depends with the industry. They don't like married women or married people because they tend to think they have a lot of responsibilities. So the moment you see Lynette, 40, Christian, married, they'll be like, this lady will not give us much of the time, Maybe atakuwa anachomoka to go and attend to the baby, or there'll be responsibilities, or she will get pregnant, and then,
there is that leave that comes.
And then there's the leave. There's an organization I worked for, I'm not going to mention it, but that director detested married women. She never liked married women in the organization.
Wasn't she married?
She was separated at the time I was working there. And just getting to know that you're married, there's a lady who got married while she came there, and then she got pregnant. Oh my God, it was so crazy for her. So when you're applying for jobs, some of those details are not necessary unless you are asked for them. So when you're writing your CV, you have to include what is necessary. You customize your CV to the job application you are looking for. If they're looking for a driver, you don't need to say a lot of unnecessary things that don't go in line with a driver. Just put them aside. You'll keep bringing them in as time goes by. As time goes by, you'll be bringing them in. Unless they ask for it, or unless it's a job like an NGO, where drivers are normally needed, then you add that. And you talked about, you were being told that it's not just our academics that are looked for on the CV. It is very true. Normally when you're writing your CV, I talked about an executive summary. An executive summary is a brief description of who you are. After your name and your introduction, we are going to share a sample CV so that you'll get to see it. So after your name and your introduction and your profession, like I would say Lynette Ochieng, IT admin, that's my profession, just an example. And then I put my email address there and then my contacts. And then the next thing I'll put is an executive summary. It's a paragraph. I'll say, I am Lynette Ochieng. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science and information technology. I've had a work experience of 7 years plus. I've worked in organization A, organization B, and organization C. Besides ICT, I've worked with organizations. I've worked with NGO A, NGO B, NGO C. In these organizations, you were doing item A, item B, and item C. Some of my achievements were this. I'll be glad and privileged, and it will be an honor to work in your organization. Looking forward to working with you. That's your executive summary.
So the executive summary highlights the most important part of your CV.
So any busy HR who goes through executive summary does not have to go to high school. You got a B+. Primary, you got 428. And then your work experiences.
You know, that reminds me, I came across a CV of a certain girl at Pwani, where now after the small part of the name, the age and all that, which it was, she had like minimized it, alikuwa ametoa vitu zingine. She had that summary of herself. My name is so and so. I'm a 4th-year student at Pwani University, pursue a bachelor's degree in communication. I have served as a student leader in this capacity from this year. This year, I've also gotten a privilege to attend the CCUSUC, whatever in US. I've also worked with this NGO. Then she has completed the CV there. And when she gave this CV to the, how do you call these people work with the office of the ambassador, that they usually go to the ground to get information. This lady was like, everyone should write a CV like this. And now the confusion came in. You are talking like, hey, now do you mean Chenli Funzo primary or high school is wrong? So are there certain CVs for certain, like kila organization iko na format yake ya CV?
Not really killer organization, but everything your CVs, you're encouraged to keep customizing your CV and keep modifying it and keep editing it. And you're applying in an NGO, for instance, your CV should be as detailed as possible to every NGO you worked. If you worked with children, if there was HIV AIDS, you know, you detail it. Kabisa. So your CV would be long. If you were driving when you're going to the field, you mention that. If you're handling finances, you mention that. If you're doubling as a grants officer, you mention that and all that. If you're the community mobilizer, I worked hand in hand with the chief. I cooperated with the deputy governor to issue sanitary towels. You know, you mention all that, especially in organization, because it will earn you a point. Though not that this lady, we are bringing her on board. She has touch with the deputy governor. She knows the chief. She has experience. She's done HIV AIDS. They know how to issue sanitary towels. This means she knows where she got them, you know, such like stuff. Now, when you're looking for a job as a teacher and you worked in an NGO, that information might not add you any value at that time. You're applying as a maths teacher in a particular primary school. So if you start saying in your CV, I worked in this NGO, we were issuing sanitary towels in your CV, and you're applying as a math teacher,
they don't add up.
That may only earn you points as a co-curricular. But you need to mention, I worked in this school, I taught these pupils, I upgraded their mean score from this to this. So that's why every time you're applying for a job, you need to keep customizing your CV. And whatever you're writing there has to be true. So that is why you're asking, is it that these CVs are normally different? No, they're not different. You just customize it
to fit you,
to fit the position you're applying for at that time. So that is what happens.
Now, it's that period where most campuses are releasing students through graduation ceremonies. Now you have identified, you have listed down the places you want to work. Obviously, you don't have to write one application letter or one CV. You have sent CVs, let's say, to 7 companies. Then they are now calling you for the interview. What do you need to do the first time? Number 1, before the interview, and number 2, during the interview, because now that is where it matters the most. And for it to be perfect, it means that before that interview, you need to have prepared yourself very well. Kuna time nikiwa high school nilikuwa ndanga funky nyingi. Holiday August utaenda home. Hello mom, sikuje nyumbani. Unaenda wapi? Naenda music festival Nyeri. Then sasa uko na certificate kama 50 za music. Then your parent is like, "But don't use certificate as kusaidia. You won't carry them to the to the interview room." But you find that mimi sasa nimeitwa interview, certificate za education ndio hiyo, ya sports ndio hiyo. What are the things? Nikiingia interview room najua nimekuja interview, my CV is here. I've carried this. I don't need to carry this, or I need to carry it as an AOB.
So what you need when you're going for an interview, number 1 is preparation. You need to be prepared. They say preparedness meets opportunity. So one of the things, if I know, let's just keep using Coca-Cola as the case study. So if I know I'm going to Coca-Cola, one of the things I need to find out where it is, the location. I need to find out their dress code. How do they dress there?
So you need to
do some research.
Usiende na suti na wanavanga casual.
Do a research of that place. So find out how do they dress. Most organizations will send you what the expectations. As you come, dress casually. Don't be too overdressed. I've had instances where I received letters telling me that you should be officially dressed or dress casually. Dress casually when coming for the interview. Carries copy of this and copies of this. So some tell you, but if they don't tell you, ensure you're decent. As a lady, don't go there with revealing clothes, chewing gum, and all that. As a man, you can be semi-casual or you can be fully official. But do a research of the place, how they dress, how they want people to be, and have all your documents ready. One of the mistakes we do is once you forward your documents through email, you always assume that, anyway, they have my documents. Always carry copies of those very documents you sent. And if there are even others that you forgot to attach, make sure you carry them. It's always an added advantage, because so many times I've sat on the interview panels and then they're like, "Where are your papers?" Are you going to tell them, I thought I sent them to you on Wednesday.
Check your email.
Check your mail. No, you just go into your folder and you give them. Many a times wataka hapo and they may not carry it, or they may carry it but they just want to test your diligence and how prepared are you. So as you're going, one of the things, carry copies of the very documents you sent, either via email. Dress appropriately. Do an intense research, because another thing why you need to do that research, after the interview they will ask you, do you have any questions for us? And any employer would love to know that you know them. So do a research. That is one of the requirements, such that when they ask you, how did you get to know about us? Why do you want to work here? Then you tell them, I know Coca-Cola industry. It was started in the year 1920 something, the first manager was so and so. I remember when this happened. I remember when your business boomed and the rates fluctuated to, you made 1 billion. And, they'll be so surprised as how you're so detailed with the figures and the managers, and how the managers were transitioning, and some of the achievements they've made. Every employer will take you in. This guy knows me, this guy knows where he is coming into. So know where you're going, understand them, and do your research intensively. So let me just run through that again. Do your research, dress appropriately, carry copies of the documents that are required, and these documents you are talking about of the skills, carry them. Just carry them, go along with them.
You know, that part of getting an information of where you want to work reminds me that even when you meet great people, I realize that most of them are interested in you if you know something about them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because someone will ask, and by the way, just a funny question. Ask you, so how do you know me? To test you. Then uko like, so wewe ni governor.
Yes.
And he's like, okay, so everyone knows I'm a governor. What else do you know? But there was this young man who was telling the women that, I know you. I've seen your work. You have been distributing sanitary pads to school.
Yeah.
And there is this time you came to this school. I was there. I saw how you interacted with the girls. I saw you talked to them. And you even see how these people, their face light, and you're like, oh, so there is something when you know something about them that touches their heart.
Yeah.
But sasa sisi tunatafutanga tu kazi manze bora.
Yeah, so those are things you really need to do, kabisa. That research, you need to do it intensely. And just a question, maybe it's going through somebody's mind right now.
Yeah.
How will I draft a CV and I've never worked? I don't have any experience.
Or niko campus natafuta kazi.
I'm just from campus. So what is going to be in my CV? I will encourage those who are still studying. If you're in your second year, in your third year, during your holiday breaks, find places to fit in.
Ka short term work.
Yes. Hata kama it's an M-Pesa shop, you're doing transactions, or if it's some retail shop, you're working on the counter, or like you have somebody who has a hardware, fix yourself there. When you will be writing your CV when you're out of campus, list them down.
Okay.
Yeah. Say I worked in an M-Pesa shop for this period of time. I was handling transactions. I was good at handling money. That will show this person, there's a way this person who is applying for a job is trustworthy.
Okay.
I could handle transaction. In that shop, there was the Equity Bank something. There was also the cooperative, and there was also the KCB. I would handle all that. Remember, it was just a short-term thing, but it has gained you some experience.
Yeah.
During the period of August, September, and October, I worked in a hardware shop. I was keeping records of the materials that come in. I was distributing materials. I would liaise with the drivers, ensure that the materials reach various sites. I would handle transactions. I would keep records of, all that. So those short-term jobs, when you list them in your CV, it builds you up. So anybody who is asking themselves, I'm in first year, nikifika fourth year, how will I even write my CV na sijafanya job? Those short holidays, find yourself somewhere. Fix yourself somewhere. And even your internship, list it in your CV.
Okay.
Yes.
Sasa tumeandika CV, tumeingia interview. So, you have now umepata job, shapiga interview and all that, you get the job. You are now a fresher in this organization.
Yeah.
There is how you need to carry yourself. Juu kazi inawezaisha, unaweza andikwa leo kazi. Kesho asubuhi kazi ishe juu maybe your first day you didn't carry out yourself well, or your first week. Because me, I was told most employees take nearly 1 week to study you. You have to 1 week unaona how do you carry out yourself, unafanyaje. So I'm right now an employee, a very new employee in the market. What should I be doing?
You're in that office. Ndio umeingia day 1 yako. You're like a fresher. You're still waiting to be told this will be your desk, this will be the laptop, or this will be the computer, or this will be the room. Now, one of the things you need to begin by doing, I know first weeks you'll be trained. Most organizations train people. So you'll be trained, you'll be told this is your workstation, these are your responsibilities, you'll be doing this, you'll be answering phone calls, you'll be doing correspondences of emails, you'll be ushering guests and attending to their needs. That aside, there are things that you need, or we call them qualities or characteristics of a good employee. What will keep you there? What will enable you to be sustained there and work there for 2 years, for 3 years, for 4 years? So one of them is reliability. You need to be reliable from day one. And every character you portray from day one, be the same person. The Lynette they saw on the 20th of reporting, let that be the Lynette they see in February and in March and in April. Just be reliable.
Okay.
If day one you were told to report at work at 8, but you reported at 7:30, just make that 7:30 be your time.
Maintain it.
Yeah, so that somebody can rely on you. So that the staff, the employer, the subordinate staff, the HR and everybody can rely on you. Be somebody who keeps their word. That is also being reliable. If you say, I'll handle this by 10, make it 10. If you know you will not make it 10, communicate prior. So that is the second point, communication. Besides being reliable, communicate. Always communicate. If you don't know something, say, I don't know it. If you are not sure, ask. If you know you will not go to work in time, communicate. Different organizations have different channels of communication.
Yeah.
There's some bosses that are so free with you can just WhatsApp them. There are some that will require an email that goes to the HR. From HR, the HR transfer it to the director.
Yeah.
There are some you can just pick your phone and call them and tell them, tomorrow I'm not coming. Or you gave me this activity, I am not able to finish it. We were supposed to meet at 10. It's already 9:30. ABCD is happening. Kindly allow me to come 30 minutes late. Communicate. When you communicate in your new job, it shows a lot. Another thing is be self-driven. Don't wait to be told what to do. If I applied in that position as a front office assistant, you do your research. Besides being told, receive clients, do correspondences, pick phone calls. During your free time, when you go back home or in the office, do research. Find out what do front office people do. So that while there's no customer coming in, while there's no phone call, while there's no email to respond to, you know some other things you can do.
Okay.
Let me go and, organize that shelf. It's untidy. So be self-driven. Be self-motivated. Don't wait to be told. This is your workstation. You're seeing it's dusty, it's dirty. The reception where the guests are, and you are the one receiving those guests. The chairs are sitting in a funny position. Don't wait to be told to organize that space because it's also your space. That's where you're receiving guests. So be self-driven. Be self-motivated. Don't just sit there because I was told to answer phone calls, to do this and to do this. These are some of the qualities most youths lack. And these are the qualities you need as a youth. We're talking about youth as employees. To do so that you're sustained in that job. So another thing you need is you need to be honest. Be very, very honest at your workstation. When we talk about honesty, we are talking about different aspects. Did you do this? Did you receive a phone call from Mr. So-and-so? No.
I don't think so.
I did not. It was not me. It was the HR. It was not me. And then later they find out, no, it was you. Oh, yeah, it was me. I was the one who took these documents here and placed them here. So be honest. Be very, very honest. Be very sincere in your speech, in your actions, and in everything you do. You need that in your job to keep it, to sustain it. Honesty. We've talked about reliability. We've talked about communication. What else? You need to be...
You've talked about self-driven person.
Yeah, self-driven. You need to be a disciplined person, especially ladies. I'm addressing ladies. Be very disciplined at your workplace. There's normally an issue of people wanting to sleep with their bosses or people above them, or they approach you for relationships, be self-disciplined with the subordinates, with the people above you, and be disciplined in every aspect of your job. There is a place I worked. I don't know if I should say this. And we had the board, the director's room upstairs. So she comes in, and he comes in and he calls me upstairs, and he tells me to carry some documents upstairs. And I had not completed the task. So I went into my office and I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And he calls my office number. I've been here, I'm waiting for you. Where are the documents? I say, sir, I'm coming right now. I know very well I've not even completed the task. And then I'm seated there, I'm fumbling and fumbling. What do I do? What do I do? And then he comes downstairs. Okay, since you do want to come, I'm here. Give me the documents. Then I gave him the file and the documents, and he moves with them upstairs. And then he calls the phone again. Can you come upstairs? And then he finds I did not do that work. I was just new in the industry. And then I noticed when I sat down with myself, I was doing a cat and mouse game with him, you know. And that is what a lot of youths do. You're given an assignment. You're not disciplined enough to complete that task. And if you did not complete it, you did not communicate. So I was scared of communicating. And of course, when I went upstairs, I felt like he was mean to me, but I know I deserved it.
Okay.
He did not insult me or abuse me, but he spoke. There are no mean words. Once you become an employer, you realize there are no mean words. But I was given one more chance to go and sit down and think if I want this job or not. So be disciplined when you are in your job. Discipline in the aspect that you complete your activities. Another thing is efficiency. There are so many of them, we may not exhaust them. Be efficient. There's also another place I went to work. I was given a task to carry out. When I submitted the task, there were some errors. So my boss goes through the document and underlines the errors. And tells me, go and correct this and go and correct this. Then I go back to my office and I take almost an hour. And then he's the one who calls me, bring the documents now. And then I only corrected the errors he pointed. So he told me, you're not efficient. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not efficient? He told me efficiency is doing something once and it's perfect. You don't need to do one thing over and over and over again. I don't know if I used the correct English, but you don't have to do something over and over.
Repeatedly.
So if I go through a document and I tell you point A and B is wrong, be that person to go through the entire document and correct everything. So that you don't have to go upstairs to the office again and told, okay, section G, there's also a problem. Then you correct section G, and then you're told, oh, page 4, there's also a problem. So be efficient when you're working. Just go through the documents, and most times you're normally urged to find another employee to proofread your documents for you. It's a way of being efficient, so that by the time you're submitting your tasks, it's close to perfect. Every employer wants somebody who do things perfectly, or even if it's not perfectly, but it's to the best. So there's so many qualities of a good employee. We may not exhaust them. I know you know most of them. Probably we've not mentioned them, but you can always list them down. We may not exhaust all of them.
Yeah. Now, kwanza hizo za kuna na accountability. That one I was taught when I started working with the office of Mheshimiwa. That you have been given this task, kindly make sure you are accountable enough to bring back a feedback and all that. Now, as we end, we know we are going to have nearly a maximum of 45 episodes of the same topic. But as we conclude, you are in the job, there are people complain. Nimekuwa tu kazi, ni miaka 2. fulani amekuja amepromotiwa, mi niko tu hapa mi niko tu hapa, yani hawanionangi. Then someone tells you kuna kitu inaitwa self development, you have not done it so someone comes day 1, it's okay, day 2 months promoted, wewe 2 years still there, mwingine anakuja is promoted. What are the aspects of development that comes in when you're now as an employer?
Yes, one of the things I would say, if you desire promotion in your workplace, I think topping the list is what we talked about, is reliability and trustworthy.
Okay.
If your employer relies on you, if your employer can trust you, even maybe you only have a certificate and there are other people who have PhDs, you'll easily get that promotion because you can be relied on, you can be trusted.
Okay.
So much so that if something is happening in the office or the boss forgot his key at home na anajua ni 6:30, he can count on you. They normally ask like, can I bank that check of trustworthiness? If I give you a check right now, or I tell you, you just go, I'll send you that cash. Can you trust me that I will send it?
Okay.
Or you'll have to still call me and send a borderman back to the house or to the office. Can I count on you? If I give you that check, can you bank it and cash it? That is the trust you're talking about. So that is one of the things that will make you be promoted. Trustworthiness and reliability. Another thing is production. Now, depending on the company you're working in, but every company looks at production. If it's a teacher, your class, is it performing? Did it uplift the mean score of the school? Is it outstanding?
Is
so
it
much
improving?
So that year they're on TV, you know. If it's a construction industry, were you able to build that entire house within a breakthrough period that has never happened, and the house was perfect? If it was a company maybe of ICT and all that, maybe you gained more clients that year
than the year before.
More than every other years, and the finances of the company grew, you know. So those are other things that employers look for before they promote you.
Okay.
It's not necessarily that you have a PhD or a doctorate. Are you somebody who can stand on behalf of the organization and speak about it and defend it and protect it? That can earn you a promotion.
Okay.
So much so that sometimes when the director is away and something has to be done, or the governor wants to visit your school, they say, let Derrick handle that client. Because they know you will walk them through the organization, section by section. You'll tell them what your office does. You'll be able to answer every question diligently. That may garner you promotion because you can be counted on. When the director is not away, when the finance officer is not around, they can say, let Derrick pay the staff this month. Because you're all-rounded. Again, that's a quality, all-rounded. Besides being the front office, you've interacted with the cashier. You know how the payrolls are prepared. You've gone to the kitchen, you know the menu. When you're seated in a meeting, you shock the director, you know how the payroll is prepared, you know the menu of the whole week, you know where stuff from the kitchen comes from. You know a lot of things. You're all-rounded. When you're all-rounded, it's so easier to get promoted in an organization because they know you can multitask. One of these things you're talking about is you have to be self-driven. Kujituma. I'm looking for the right word. Unapojituma, when you're in your workplace, you get to learn a lot of things from different departments. You learn from finance, you learn from subordinates, you learn from the kitchen. Now usibague the people you're interacting with. Interact, whether they're cleaners, interact with them. Whether they're people in the kitchen, whether they're people who mop the floor, whether they're the top board directors. Just be all-rounded. That will gain you experience. The moment you realize there's a gap in your office, let's say you did basic computer packages, just an example. And now as you keep staying in that organization, maybe you've earned good enough money or you're able to save, upskill. there's what we call upskilling. Do another course, maybe certificate in human resources or financial management. So keep upskilling. The more you upskill, the more you learn a lot of things, and that gives you an opportunity to also earn promotion. So there are so many various ways of earning promotion, and I would guarantee you what you studied in your campus or that degree is not one of them. Because yes, you may have a bachelor's degree in business, but when you are in that office, you're not friendly to people. You are always on your phone.
With the earphones.
You don't interact with other people. You're not upskilling. You're not reliable. You're not trustworthy. You cannot be promoted. So you find those people complaining that, hey, mimi nilikuja kwa hiyo ofisi, I have a doctorate, I have a master's, but nani alikuja hapa na hata hakuna certificate, hata hakumaliza shule, you know, na anakuwa promoted. So those are the things employers look at before they look at. And most times when they want to promote you na wanajua kutaleta tashwishi, they usually call you in the office and ask you, are you able to take this course? So that you do it partly as you work. Because maybe atakwambia hivyo, maybe anapanga kukupromote, na najua there will be controversies. Most employers will talk to you like, Derrick, how are you? Come to my office. So you said you did course ABCD. Have you thought about doing business studies, you know? Maybe anapanga na wewe kukupromote, na najua there could be controversies, and he's seeing some opportunities in you. So anakuletea hiyo idea. Maybe you can do it part-time. You can begin working from 8 to 3. I'll be releasing you early for 2 months. Or you can do it online. Then you upskill your academics. So that by the time anakupromote, ashaona potential kwako, but document-wise, anataka you also be at par. So that isilete issues kwa the board, if there's a board, or the other partners who head the company. So those are also many aspects, what causes people to get promotion and what causes others to complain why the others are getting promotion.
Now, the last part of today's conversation, your information ni nyingi. Some things that I even never knew as a person. I can say I've never known them a lot. I know some, but not. We meet a client, we agree on a contract, on a certain duration of time. You work on that duration of time, then your work is done with this amount of fee or this amount of money. Now, number one, freelancers, you just said an employee is anyone who provides services with someone has employed you to provide a service, right? So meaning a freelancer is also an employee.
Most freelancers are self-employed.
Self-employees. Now, as a freelancer, what do you need to have to ensure that, number one, you remain valuable, relevant, and impactful in your how can I say it, in your niche or in your space of work or in whatever service you're providing?
So what a freelancer needs is more or less similar to what an employee needs. Be trustworthy, be reliable, be somebody who can be counted on. If you tell a client, let's meet at a particular place at 10 a.m. Make it 10 a.m. or before. And if you know you're not going to make it, call your client and tell them it is not possible. Following your contract, maybe we are talking about photography, just an example. You told this client, I'm going to cover your wedding. We have 2 drones, we have 2 videographers, we have 2 photographers. And then as the wedding day approaches, you don't have that. Communicate. Because the moment you get on the wedding day and you have 1 drone, and you have 1 photographer, and you have no videographer, it will be a mess. And this field, people talk. I'm telling you, people talk. There's what we call referrals. If you serve me well, I'll talk about you. If I have 4 more friends who are doing their weddings, I will tell them, consider that team. They're very good. And when you people love communication. So if you know that day is approaching and you don't have the 2 drones you mentioned, you don't have the 2 cameras, you don't have the 2 videographers, communicate. Just call them and sit them and tell them, we mentioned 2 drones in the contract, but we have 1. But then you assure them. But I assure you our work will still be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, we have improvised on item A. So one videographer will do this, and there's a way we will do it, and it will still be perfect. You know, and you assure them. You will see nothing going wrong. In fact, it will be a plus for you. So as a freelancer, communicate, be honest, be trustworthy. They usually say a man is as good as his word. And ensure you know your clients.
Yeah.
Know them, like you were saying, somebody was talking to the women rep.
Yeah.
And tell them, I know this. Know your clients. Recently, somebody called a friend of mine. No, a friend of mine called a service provider, sorry.
Yeah.
A friend of mine called a service provider. We needed their services. They've served us before. So when we called, they've served us twice, actually. So when we called, because we know now this is a regular call. This guy has served us twice. They know us. So we take the phone and we call and we're like, hello, when ni nani? So, you know, I have to do this again. As, are you not Mr. So-and-so? Ni mimi, na we ni nani? Oh, you know, I'm like, what?
ali change simu akapoteza namba.
Is this a service provider, really? Even though, na we ni nani?
The tone.
Yeah. So we just say, sorry, wrong number. And then we looked for another service provider. So have a contact list of your clients. If you have to buy a separate phone, so that you don't delete their numbers. You say, Mrs. Chirabo, maybe Mtepeni client. You know them, Mrs. So-and-so. So that when they call you, you respond by their names. Yeah. Know your clients by their names. If your clients, oh, Mr. Geoffrey, how are you? Good morning, sir. Yeah. That alone will earn you a lot of points as a freelancer. Know your clients by their names, by their titles. Oh, Engineer Matthew. Oh, Pastor Liz, you know. Yeah. Oh, Dr. So-and-so. That alone will earn you a lot of points as a freelancer. So know your clients, be trustworthy, be reliable, communicate. So the characteristics of an employee cut across. Okay. Whether you're a freelancer, whether you're a businessman, whether you're an entrepreneur, they are the same everywhere.
Now, your last words to the youth and also people are already employed in that field. So that even as people get into the field of employment, people transit from campus to high school, not high school, from campus to the field work or to be employed, that this is something I can tell you always have in mind.
Yeah. Wow, that's so nice. Many youths quit their jobs because of how they are treated at their places of work. Mispendi venye huyo boss ananiongelesha. Yule HR na madharau, shona venye ananiangalia, ndio kwa maana niliacha job. That front office manager, every time they are emailing people, they forget to email me. That's why I quit my job. You know, there are very petty reasons as to why, especially us youths, we quit our jobs. But I'd like to tell somebody today, I don't know if I'm allowed to refer to the scripture. There's the story of Hagar and Sarah. When Hagar got pregnant, nakumbuka ni Sarah alimleta kule, Sarah became very jealous and started mistreating Hagar. And Hagar, because of the too much mistreatment, decided to carry the baby Ishmael and run away into the desert. But God appeared to Hagar and told her, go back and submit. I want to tell somebody today, don't run away from your place of growth because of the treatment. Especially, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. Many a times these bosses, they don't stay that for too long. And it is only until wazastahimili those characters. You see what gold, when gold is gold, it has to go through fire. Yeah. So you can never stand up and say, I endured that if you don't want to endure it. So if you get a job, don't be too rushed to run away from that job because the HR looks at you in a funny way. Because when the lady in the kitchen is serving food, they serve you little food. Stay there. Don't run away from your place of growth, from your place of development because of the treatment. There's some of the things you need to ignore, a lot of the things. If the gate man does not greet you, so what? Greet them and get into the office and do what you need to do. So my parting shot is, don't run away from your place of growth or from your place of development because of the treatment. Kaa hapo, persevere and endure, and you see yourself going further and further and making it. Yeah.
Wow. And up to that point, as I said, that today's video is one of those videos that you sit down and realize bado ni mwanafunzi, you know nothing about life. So I'm still in the school of life. School education school nimemaliza, I think I'm done. But in the school of life, there is a lot that you need to learn that you'll never learn in class. Hakuna leka atafunza. Maybe upate, when I was in high school, we had this mwalimu, he's called Mr. Duncan Kihima. Angewafunza class ni 2 hours. Angewafunza 1 hour. Alafu the remaining 1 hour ni motivation na story ya life.
Wow, yeah. I
and
like
even
that.
Up to now, there is a group where he still teaches. You'll see TV kidogo, you see he has sent their job interview, this is what you need to do, this, there is this job somewhere, you go do this is what you need to do. And he's like keeping tabs or keeping tags on the students that went through his arms. And you realize that the school of life never really ends.
No.
Personally, I've interacted with so many people, from normal people, casual people, to those people we call honorable. And I can say each and every person has got his or her own principle. Always try to know what is the principles of this person or the principles of these organizations, so that you don't go against the ethos, the cause, and the mission and the vision of that organization. My name is Mwavali Derrick. She's Madam Lynette Kibali, and just if you don't know, you can call her to sing in your wedding. She's a very nice vocalist. She's a very nice vocalist. Until we meet again, this has been the Sphere Production.